another episode of a series, Coffee Pe Charcha, a platform where we get business leaders to discuss the most relevant and pressing issues related to people and HR, and especially in the context of growth. Today, my guest is Amit Sinha, founder of Unnati, one of the largest agri-tech startups of the country, which is really taking the digital revolution to the bottom of pyramid with digital distribution products and services, and also financial products in the agri space. Amit is also credited to be one of the key persons who scripted Paytm and Paytm Mall's story from scratch to getting them a unicorn status, having worn multiple hats like of a COO, CFO, and CHRO of various businesses. So no better person really to talk about people, challenges, and high growth startups than Amit. So welcome, Amit. Delighted to have you here. How are you?
Thank you, Nishit. Thank you, Nishit, for the wonderful introduction. I'm great. HR is definitely one of the most challenging roles that I have done, but also the most rewarding. So would be very happy to share my thoughts, and I hope people gain out of the experiences that I have had while working at Paytm and at Unnati.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff that people can pick up. So first question, Amit, that I have is, what does it really take to succeed in a startup environment? Now, I'm not asking this question in the context of an entrepreneur. I'm asking this question in the context of the employees or the team who joins a startup, right? Because a lot of professionals who keep talking to me say that they want to join startups. Obviously, they want to work in that environment, but they're not sure. They're skeptical about chaos, ambiguity, and the unstructuredness. Now, what is it that you have seen? What kind of people who really succeed in a kind of a startup environment and in hyper growth setups? What's different about the people who succeed in such environment?
So a lot of those fears actually are very real, in the sense that there is chaos. There is a lot of unstructured environment, but also it comes with its risk and reward matrix, and obviously the reward is also very high. So typically what I have seen, people who really do perform well in a startup are the doers. Okay. At the end of the day, you have to be a doer of things. It is very important that you are very, very strong on execution, because at the end of the day, a startup is all about execution. It's not about ideas. It's not about strategies. It's all about execution. If you are executing on a day-to-day basis, you will succeed. There is no second thoughts. Why? Because the more you execute, the more you will find ways to change and suit what you are doing to the current scenarios, and the scenarios will keep evolving in any startup very fast. What is very important is that you keep looking at the changing scenario in a startup and keep executing. The more you execute, the better it is. So I would say, if you ask me to describe in one single, the faster and the better you are able to execute, you will succeed in a startup. If you think that building strategies and spending time on thinking is going to take you anywhere, that will never happen. So definitely a strong execution guy will always succeed in a startup. And then obviously he has to be comfortable with the whole unstructured environment. I remember one of the earliest things which I used to say when I joined 197 was, I wanted to make my hands dirty. And I think dirtying your hands is very critical. You can't rely on others to do your stuff, because one of the key things that happens in a startup is none of the processes or the rules or anything is defined. Okay. So you will definitely hit a roadblock of saying that, ye agla kaam kaun karega? Who is the next person to do this thing?
Sure.
If you are not the one who takes it end to end, then who else? So, and if you are the one, then definitely you will succeed in a startup. So execution, doing things, and being fast in terms of your thinking, and being open to doing anything to get things done. At the end of the day, results matter. So if results are not happening because there is a hiring requirement, you have to go and find a guy and get him hired. Don't wait for your HR team to bring a sort of a set of people and then you hire, and you won't have that luxury in time. So similarly for any aspect of the thing. I remember when we were just forming Unnati in its first avatar, we would have checks available with us, but we did not have an office boy, because at that point we felt office boys are the most luxurious item that you would spend on. We were a bootstrap venture, and so the checks don't go into the bank, so you can't pay your salaries. You are in money, but you're not in money. Okay, so
Yeah.
the point is, in that scenario, you might have to act as an office boy also, as a startup guy, and this is not only for the entrepreneur. This is also for the core team and the initial teams of the startup, where you have to spend a lot of effort in terms of getting anything and everything done. But the whole attitude should be, at the end of the day, end results matter, and how soon and how best you achieve, that is the thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, getting things done is such an important and and it's yet a rare skill or a competency that we see in people. And that is, what is leading me into this next question is that it's understood that yes, I need doers, but how do you really go about identifying people who are really doers, right? If you are interviewing people or evaluating people, what is your experience of almost 1.5 to 2 decades of startup experience, really techniques you have used that have worked well for you?
So I think one of the key things there is, and this is about the whole finding out whether there is I would say whether you call it a cultural fit or an attitude fit. I would call it an attitude fit of getting things done. So if somebody, so there were some few key questions which we would ask, which would quickly make sense, especially at a level of somebody whom you are hiring for, if not immediate sort of heading something or leading something, then or building something, then very soon leading to that position. If people ask how big a team can I handle, it just is a no-go. Okay, you can't rely on a large team to be built up in a startup. That is not where you start. Given a work, you start actually by doing things and then getting added up in your team. Because the moment you say that I'll hire a team and then start the work, it goes for a 3-month toss. Okay, nothing will happen before 3 months, because you will hire people, they will get out of wherever they are working and then joining. So it's a 3-month cycle. The first question is, what is the starting point for you? And if that guy says that for me the starting point is hiring a team and then the work will start, then there is a sort of a, I would say, if not a red, at least an orange flag. Okay, very, very interesting stuff. Similarly, there were some things that we saw, like a few, for example, many times we would ask question like how would you, what is your opinion about firing people? Okay, if somebody or things like, if you find an ethics issue, what do you do in that case? Okay, if somebody goes into too much of a sort of inquiry and a committee and stuff, then he's not a startup guy for you, because you take decision and move on. And these are the hardest decisions, as a team person, asking somebody to go for whatever reason, either for a non-performance or for a ethics issue or something, is the most difficult thing. Okay, how do you handle that? It's very important that you are sharp and fast at getting these things done. Okay? Similarly, quite a lot of such questions in the interview would different levels, different roles, but some of these generic stuff would always make sense. Also, in terms of the hunger, many times I used to rely a lot on the I would say the enthusiasm of the other person. Okay, to really and many times you see that people actually put in effort, and which means that you are interested. You would go ahead and have a lot of questions and discussions around what can be done, not done. So a lot of I would say these sort of attitude things are what are more important for a startup, because fundamentally I believe that as a startup you're doing something new. Okay, sure. If there is a precedence to that, then it is not a startup. It can be a good business, not denying that. Sure. But as a startup, you are building something which is totally not existent anywhere, which means that you should not look for experience. If it is experience, then that is not what you're looking for. You are looking for somebody who can do something from scratch. Okay, learn on the job. It's always learning on the job. Okay, whether it is for the entrepreneur or for the team, it is learning on the job and doing and moving things. So I think that is where the attitude and the culture fit and how fast can you move is something which is very important.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And Amit, the one quick comment and view from you on this issue of pedigree, right? I mean, there is in our business at UniHire and across, and all around us, we see that there is some of the startups really are very stringent on the pedigree. They are very clear that they just need the cream and all that. And this becomes a sensitive topic because what happens is that, they realize there are people out there who have done the job, but they do not belong to the pedigree they want. Right now, to what extent you think this is a right approach, and if it is a right approach, under what circumstances is it right, or it's a completely wrong approach?
Personal view, I think it's a completely wrong approach. Okay. I have seen a lot of people succeeding who do not have a pedigree but have the right attitude to get things done. Okay.
Yeah.
And in fact, I remember this was a very, you don't forget some things when people tell you. I remember Vijay told me very early on when I had joined 197 way back in 2007-8 that the superlative thing is to get things done from people who are subpar, but then they punch above their weight and do and achieve much more than what they have done in the past. Okay. Absolutely. And that's a trick. If you are able to do that, then your startup will grow by leaps and bounds because you have the ability then to get things done way beyond the capability of a person. Okay. Yeah. So not to say that pedigree doesn't help or pedigree is bad, but definitely pedigree for a startup should not be this thing. Actually, you need people who have hunger to do things, find out their own way. You have to be street smart for sure, whether a pedigree or not. Yeah. So if you have a pedigree and no street smartness, then I don't think you are the right candidate for a startup. Just want to go there.
Yeah, true. I also agree to that. I mean, once there's a basic hygiene level of educational qualification, I think post that it's your experience that you have, and your energy and enthusiasm about the job is what matters. Amit, thanks a lot for giving us time, and it was an interesting conversation where we kind of really understood from you, someone who's done it and been there, done that kind of a thing on what clicks and what doesn't click with respect to talent in a startup, right? And hope to reconnect with you again in any other episode with some different topics. Thank you for joining.
Sure. Thanks so much, Nijit, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.